Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in the South, as well as our online audience tuning in. Thanks to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. One of the great children's books I had a chance to read this year was called Wings to Fly. It's written by Jarnell Stokes and Howard Flamm. We're excited to welcome Howard to our program today to talk to him not only about the writing of this book, but also the great messages I think are great, not only for a younger audience, but really great reminders for all of us today as well. If you guys have not heard of Wings to Fly, of course, we'll let you know how to get your own copy of it. But Howard, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having us and inviting us to your broadcast. I really enjoy your show. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. So I want to talk about the response to the book, Howard, because I've already written my review on Amazon. But one of the things that I really thought about when I was prepping for this segment is I think, a lot of people can relate to the character Louisa that we're able to meet in the book. But what has it been like for you to see the way that people have been picking up on the different themes you guys share here?
Yeah, well, we tried to incorporate a universal theme that we feel is all important for kids, which, a lot of kids in sports, they kind of feel like they're left out. They're not the best player on the court or the field. And, what we've tried to institute, the message in this book is that really what's most important, especially for a kid, is how you treat others with kindness, with respect, understanding the importance of cooperation, and always wanting to go out and try, right? And in order to become your best, it's going to take time. So to embrace that philosophy, and I think it shows through pretty well through this story.
Right. And I think that's why I think, Howard, this story is so important for now. For one, of course, one of the things I mentioned to you before we went on here, one of the messages for sure for me that stood out is that, hey, just like Louisa is able to figure out, life does have its ups and downs. Life will have its challenges. But the important thing, is to not give up along the way. How has that message served you well, Howard, as you kind of reflect on your own career and journey?
So, I actually in the past have done feature film work as a screenwriter. Mm-hmm. So, an independent film that I had released, which I wrote based on a true story of two real guys. And, it's a romantic comedy of them each, meeting a girl on the same day and time, and the guys helping each other to sew up those relationships. That movie's called Shut Up and Kiss Me. And have some other upcoming films that are going to be happening in this next year here in 2021. So, gosh, if you want to, give somebody a chore to try to bring something to fruition, film's about as tough a market as you can get into. Knowing hundreds of people that attempted to make a feature film and either it never happened, they ran out of money, it didn't get distributed, but so many people try. So, after being told no so many times and having doors shut, it's really so much dependent on your own fortitude, not really a studio or a distributor to make it happen. And that's what we did in the end, and that's what we're doing with the next one to make it independently and keep our own creativity in the film and not have it be somebody else to completely change it up. So just learning what the fortitude is all about to fight through and never take no for an answer and be able to overcome adversity. I just think it's, as you said, Cyrus, more than ever with what we're in right now with the pandemic, you just got to fight through it. The stronger you are, the better you're going to persevere.
And we're going to definitely come back to that because I love the fact how the book Wings to Fly, Howard also shares examples of other greats, of course, for the book. It really focuses on those who really succeeded in sports. But I think, again, kind of broadening that out, really all of us can find individuals in our respective interests that we can be able to look to. I want to go back to how this all began. I had a chance to watch some of the conversations that you've been able to have with Jarnell when kind of talking about the book Wings to Fly. How did this collab come about, Howard?
So, Jarnell, my co-creator and co-writer in the book, has been in the NBA for 3+ seasons and also played professional ball in China for a couple seasons, a USA gold medalist, and was a star at the University of Tennessee. So he was taken in the second round of the NBA draft. So he played for the Memphis Grizzlies, Miami Heat, and Denver Nuggets. So I lived in Denver for a number of years, and that's where Jarnell and I met. And we formed a kinship right away because we saw that we had a lot of things in common, wanting to further our voice in media and for sure to positively impact kids who need to hear these teaching lessons more than anybody else in their formative years, and have them build confidence and security in themselves and their own decisions. So we had an idea for a children's book initially to launch it all. This will lead, and it'll be a bigger project, but largely based on the concepts in the book. The TV show and the film will also be about kids and sports, and being able to feel strong about their skills, but also that they're becoming and developing, evolving into great human beings. So Jarnell and I had this in common. Besides media, I also work in health and wellness, and I have a clinic in Denver and a clinic in San Diego in Southern California, natural health clinics. So Jarnell was sidelined from the Nuggets. He had an injury, really like the first time in his life, and we kind of met in Denver. He came to our clinic, and we became fast friends from there. And really, was very inspired for the story from hanging out with Jarnell because he's such a humble guy who really just wants to give back. And you don't always see that in athletes. Right. A lot of times they're driven by ego and how much money they can make and how many endorsements. And really, we need athletes who are true role models. There's some athletes I would want my kids to look up to. There's some I would definitely not want them to look up to. Right. So that's really how it began.
I'm so glad you shared that story. I think, a couple of things that were in there, and again, like I said, when I was prepping for this, Howard, I got a chance to watch you guys together kind of talk about the genesis for this. I love the fact, too, that it's going to be building on other things, other types of work. There's another great message, I think, in the book that is important, and I think especially, again, it's something that all ages can remember, is that the important thing is to show up, right? That's really, and you even alluded to this earlier. Everyone, especially in the world we live in today, where especially with social media stars and influencers, everyone wants these big numbers. They want the success. They want the notoriety. How much is it for you, Howard, to really just to show, especially for young people, the importance of just doing their best, not trying to be the top whatever, but even as the book says, if you're able to come in and do your best, you're a superstar. How important is that message to really to drive home?
To me, it's everything. Because, even though in our world, especially you watch like commercial advertising, it's all about image. If you only had, this car, this iPhone, that'll make you a better person. And we know it won't. It's very fleeting, right. It's very superficial, and it doesn't last. So really a big part of the inspiration for Jarnell and I, so I have a daughter who's 10. Jarnell has a young sister who's 10. So we also wanted to do this as a tribute to them, to really show them the way and help to light the path. And, both of these girls were like 6.5 when we started the idea for the book. And it's been a long journey. We've watched them grow and been influenced by a positive direction. So, it's our way of giving back and encouraging the next generation. And I just think it's got a lot of strong values in the book that, one of our points of inspiration is Jarnell and I came across this quote from Michael Jordan, and I could kind of paraphrase it. It's from Michael Jordan's autobiography. I know you've covered a lot of sports players that you've interviewed. So, I've always been a big Jordan fan. So the quote said something like, "In my lifetime, I've been entrusted to take the game-winning shot 26 times and missed. I've missed over 900 shots in my career. I have failed over and over and over again, and it's because of that I'm successful." So I get the chills when I see that quote, because you don't expect that from Michael Jordan, first of all. And it just shows that anytime he hasn't been as good as he'd like to be, it drove him harder to get better, not to be defeated. And that's what separated him as a superstar, that mindset.
And I think that's it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Howard.
No, we know Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, so he easily could have said, I'm no good. I'm going to give up the sport.
Right. And that's why I think that, I was just going to say, that's why I think the message of just showing up is so important for our audience out there and for young readers of the book and those who are reading it to them. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Howard Flamm is our guest for this segment. He's the co-author of the book Wings to Fly that he wrote with Jarnell Stokes. We're going to remind you guys how you can be able to get the book for yourself. I love the fact that you mentioned that this is just the beginning, Howard, but I do want to ask you this. As you mentioned, you've been able to also build a career doing other things as well that you're passionate about. Could you have imagined that you would have this this new journey of not only, of course, writing for children, but also now building this brand around it?
No, it's something that just kind of hit us by surprise. We felt very comfortable with carrying forward with this concept. And also, and you mentioned Louisa, who's the main character, because we want to appeal to boys and girls alike, and it's appropriate for all kids that are grade school age. And certainly, girls are playing sports as much as boys now. That wasn't the case when I was a kid. I remember the little leagues I went to, it was boys. So. So the fact that there is this guardian angel who's a pro basketball player that descends down and kind of really helps to guide this girl and help her make the smart decisions and help her to instill confidence in herself, to us that can represent anybody in a kid's life. It could be a spiritual higher power. It could be a teacher. It could be their parents. That there are people close to us who have more life experience, and you kind of have to lean on them and take some advice and wisdom. And I think that's also something that's interlaid in the story that we're teaching.
Exactly. And I think, too, Louisa is able to show others, especially other kids, what is possible for them, especially as I love that also, that other lesson, that epiphany about when I focus, I can do great things. And so I think that's the other big thing there, the importance of focusing and being sure about what you want to do. And just like you mentioned, with Louisa being able to realize, okay, if this is what you want to do, you have to practice. You have to definitely be serious about it. I think that's a great message there. Howard, great conversation with you. The book Wings to Fly is available through our friends at Amazon.com. You guys can be able to get it there. As I mentioned earlier, I've already written my review for it. Definitely, if you guys get the book, I invite you guys to be able to share your thoughts as well. And Howard, how can our audience stay connected with you guys and keep connected with you too?
Sure. Well, you can sign up to get news on promos and in-store book signings as society's starting to come back here. So our publishing company is Creative Nation Animation, and the website is CNA, stands for Creative Nation Animation, CNAkids.com. So that'll allow you to sign up. You'll see a lot of promo stuff on there and the making of the book and just being able to follow some of the happenings. And you can order it from there, or if you go to Amazon and you put in Wings to Fly the book, it'll pop up and you'll see it. And we really hope, especially the holiday time, it's a great gift for kids that people really enjoy it, continue to embrace it, and we're looking forward to getting it out there even further. And just delighted for your time, Cyrus. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's definitely all mine. I appreciate you stopping by, Howard, and definitely looking forward to speaking with you again.
Okay, you got it, man. You have a great holiday and stay safe.
Thank you. You as well. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.